I woke up gasping. My chest felt tight. My hands didn't look right. Too pale, too long, too thin. I stumbled to the mirror and froze. That face wasn't mine. Hollow eyes, a crooked scar, and then it blinked, but I hadn't. I backed away slowly. It kept staring. No, it was studying me from the other side of the glass. And then I realized I could feel it inside. It wasn't just copying me, it was wearing me, and I couldn't scream, not in my voice. I opened my mouth. A broken rasp escaped. Too deep, not mine. I turned to grab my phone. It unlocked, but not with my fingerprint. Different apps, different people, photos of kids I didn't know, a woman kissing me, a contact, Dad. What the hell? I dropped the phone, backed away again. I couldn't breathe. The walls felt too close. The house, familiar but wrong, like a dream of my own life, drawn by a stranger. Every second screamed, "You do not belong here." Then, a whisper behind me, "You're not supposed to be here." I froze, spun around. Nothing, but the breath on my neck, was real. The mirror fogged up. I wasn't breathing, but the reflection was. And it smiled. Not kindly, not human. It was claiming me. I ran. Hallway stretched. Photos on the wall. His face, not mine. He stood next to me, the real me, smiling, alive, and he was inside my body, living my life, while I was trapped. Here, I hit the mirror, screamed, "Get out!" The glass didn't break. It smiled again, tilted its head, like it pitied me, and then it whispered, slow, cruel, from the other side, "You first." They found me wandering barefoot, middle of the street, still in that stolen skin. Police stopped, guns drawn. I begged them. I'm not who I look like. But when I saw myself in the side mirror of the car, I didn't recognize the eyes. Looking back, in the holding room, I watched security footage. I expected to see me, screaming, flailing. Instead, I saw calm, smiling. That thing was good at pretending. The officer frowned. "You broke into your own house," he said. "No ID, no fingerprints match." No one believed me. Why would they? Even I didn't know who I was anymore. They ran DNA, said I matched a man who'd been missing for 3 years. 3 years. Had I been buried, replaced, or just forgotten? They threw me in psych. White walls, strapped bed, fake smiles, needles. The doctors kept asking, "What do you feel like inside?" I told them, "Wrong." They laughed. I cried. And that night, I heard the voice again. It was coming from the wall. No, beneath it. It whispered, "Too late now. You stayed too long." I pressed my ear to the cold tile. Something breathed. Something shifted, like bones cracking, under wet skin. It wanted out. I screamed for help. They sedated me. The dreams that followed weren't mine. I saw through his eyes, living my life, hugging my mom, typing on my computer, sleeping in my bed. He wasn't acting. He believed he was me. Then he looked in a mirror, paused, smiled, and whispered, "I can feel you watching." I jolted awake, soaked in sweat. I wasn't alone in the room. Something moved in the dark, and I swear, it was my own voice that whispered back, "Good." Days passed in silence, or so I thought. The nurses talked quietly, glanced at me with pity, but late at night, the whispers grew louder. From the vents, from the walls, from inside my head. They weren't words, just sounds, calling me. One night, I saw shadows move, not outside, inside the room. A shape formed near the bed, tall, thin. Its eyes were hollow holes, and it didn't walk, it glided, closer and closer, my heart pounding. I couldn't scream. It reached out a hand, fingers long like knives. I closed my eyes, but when I opened them, I wasn't in my body anymore. I was watching from outside, detached, helpless. The shadow smiled and whispered, "Welcome home." I was trapped inside, a passenger, watching it live my life, touch my wife, speak my name, smile my smile. But I couldn't stop it, couldn't scream, couldn't fight. All I could do was watch. I tried to reach out, to the nurses, the doctors, but my voice was silent. No one heard, no one believed. I was invisible, like a ghost, a prisoner in my own mind, while it roamed free. One night, I saw my wife through the glass. She cried. She whispered my name. I wanted to tell her, "I'm still here." But the shadow laughed. It leaned close to my ear and said, "She's yours now, not you." The shadow faded, but I knew this was only the beginning. It had claimed my body, but my soul was still fighting, still trapped. And somewhere, deep inside the dark, something waited, hungry for more. The days blurred together. Time lost meaning. My body moved on autopilot. The shadow controlled every muscle. I was a ghost trapped inside flesh, watching helplessly as it smiled, laughed, lived my life. But I knew it wasn't done. It was searching. Late one night, I felt a shift inside me, a sudden surge, like a spark of resistance. My fingers twitched. My heart raced. The shadow hissed, furious. "You're weaker than I thought." But I was awake, and I was fighting back. I focused all my willpower, tried to move my hand, just a twitch, then a finger. The shadow screamed in rage. But I felt something. Real. Hope. A small crack in the darkness. Maybe I wasn't lost yet. But the shadow wasn't alone. I heard footsteps. Other voices. They came to the clinic. Strangers in black coats, watching me like prey, whispering about experiments, about containment, about new hosts. They took me to a locked room. No windows, no light, cold metal walls, a single chair in the center. They strapped me down. The shadow laughed from inside me. "Welcome to hell." And the strangers smiled. Their eyes empty. Machines hummed to life. Needles pierced my skin. They whispered, "We will fix you." But I knew the truth. They wanted to trap the shadow, harvest it, use it. But what if it fought back? What if I lost myself forever? As the machines pulsed, I heard the shadow whisper again. "Soon, they will all belong to me." And I screamed inside. My body, my life. Not yet. But deep down, I feared the end was near, and the nightmare had just begun. Darkness swallowed me whole. The machines hummed. Cold, relentless. I felt the shadow stirring deeper. It whispered promises. Dark and cruel. Freedom. Power. But only if you surrender. I clenched my teeth. Refused to give in. Days turned into weeks. I was a prisoner, both inside and out. The strangers studied me. Watched every twitch. Every breath. But their eyes hid secrets. Secrets I wasn't meant to know. And the shadow fed on my fear. One night, the lights flickered. A power outage, or something worse. In the darkness, I heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Not the strangers. Something else. Closer. Watching. A cold breath on my neck. A voice so soft, I almost missed it. "You can't hide anymore." I twisted my head, but saw nothing. The shadow laughed. "Your captors are weak, but I am eternal." The darkness pulsed. Suddenly, the machine stopped. Silence. The door creaked open. A figure stepped in. Tall, cloaked in black. No face visible. Only eyes, burning with hunger. It smiled, and I felt cold. It whispered secrets. About me, the shadow, and the price of survival. "You are the key, the vessel, but not the master." I realized then, this wasn't just possession. It was a war, and I was the battlefield. As the figure vanished, the shadow growled inside me. "Your time is running out." I screamed inside, fighting back with every breath. But the battle was far from over, and somewhere in the dark, something waited, hungry for my soul. I lay in darkness, heart pounding like a drum. The shadow whispered still, its voice a poison in my mind. "You're fading. Your time is short." I fought the fear, grasped for control, but it slipped, like water through my fingers. Then, a spark, a memory, my wife's face, her tears, the way she called my name. I clung to it, a lifeline in the void. The shadow hissed, "Cling all you want. You'll never escape me." Suddenly, the room grew cold. The shadows stretched, reaching for me. I tried to scream, but no sound came. I was trapped, a prisoner in my own flesh. The shadow smiled, knowing it had won. But then, a crack in the darkness. A voice, faint but clear. "Fight. You're not alone." I felt warmth, a presence beside me. Not human, not friendly, but something. Fighting. The presence grew stronger. It pushed back the shadow. Bit by bit, I felt hope, a chance to reclaim me. But the shadow fought harder. Its claws dug deep. The battle inside raged on. Who would win? Suddenly, a blinding light. The machines in the room sparked to life. The strangers returned, eyes wide with shock. Something shifted. The shadow screamed in rage. But I was no longer silent. I opened my mouth. A whisper escaped. Not my voice, but mine. A single word. "Help." The fight was far from over. But for the first time, I was heard. The strangers froze. Their eyes widened. I had spoken. They rushed toward me, checking vitals, muttering words I couldn't follow. But I saw it in their faces. Fear. Something was wrong. Not with me, with what they'd awakened. The machine screamed. Lights exploded overhead. A force surged through me. Hot, electric, violent. The shadows shrieked. I felt it burning, thrashing inside me. It was being ripped out. But something else was coming in. I convulsed. Pain exploded in my skull. Visions. Flashes of faces I didn't know. 100 lives. 1,000 memories. None of them mine. I wasn't just me anymore. I was all of them. Every soul. It had devoured. The walls cracked. The air turned thick, wet with rot. Something moved in the shadows. Not the strangers. Not me. Something older. Watching. Waiting. And it whispered, "You opened the gate." The lead doctor screamed, dragged into the dark. Another ran. His body folded backwards. Like paper. Blood soaked the floor. The light stuttered, then died. And I sat there. Free. But not alone. I stood. My legs weren't mine. Too strong. Too steady. I looked in the mirror. 1,000 eyes stared back. The shadow was gone. But something else had stayed. Something worse. Something hungry. I walked out of the clinic. No one stopped me. The world outside felt quiet. Too quiet. I smiled. Not because I was free, but because I knew whatever followed me out wasn't leaving alone. If you made it this far, you're braver than most. What do you think happened next? Drop your theories in the comments and tell me what kind of horror you want to see in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and sleep with the lights on.